Hi, welcome to the Wine Glass, and today I'm going to be talking about how to maintain and store your wine bottles. Now, if you don't have a wine cooler or a cellar, which is my life stream, then you're going to want to make sure you keep your wines in a cool, dark place. So wines that are stored in an ambient temperature, which is going to be just like out on the countertop or anything like that, it is going to deteriorate about 4 times faster just due to the fluctuation in temperature in your house. Just think about how when you leave the house, it's going to be a lot warmer because you're not at home. When you do come home, it's going to be a lot cooler. So you're going to have that, wavering temperature in the house. So that is going to deteriorate your wines faster. So if you do have it in ambient temperature, you're going to want to drink in about 1 to 2 years from your purchase date. Now, if you do have a wine cooler or a cellar, how do you want to set your temperature? You're going to want to set it between 55 and 59 degrees Fahrenheit and about 55 to 75% humidity. Now, if you do have a wine cooler or you're interested in buying a wine cooler, make sure you do your research because you have 2 different options. You have your thermoelectric and then you also have your condenser. So with a thermoelectric, it is going to be a lot quieter. However, it does kind of like fluctuate with the ambient temperature. It'll be more consistent than just having it out, but it is going to fluctuate a couple degrees here and there, so it's not going to be as consistent of a temperature. Now with your condenser, it's going to be a little louder. You're going to have to do maintenance intervals. However, it's going to have a more consistent temperature. It's going to be at exactly where you set it every single time. So we know what temperature we want to stay the wine at. What are the danger zones? So we have between 30 and 10 degrees Fahrenheit, you're gonna end up freezing your wine. And if it's anywhere from 85 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit, you're gonna end up cooking your wine. So those are gonna be areas that you really wanna stay away from. Absolutely stay away from if you can. Now, the danger zones where it's not quite freezing, but it's not quite cooking, but it's getting kind of close, is going to be 31 to 48 degrees Fahrenheit and 70 to 84 degrees Fahrenheit. So there it's starting to get in a bit of danger, danger. You don't want to put your wines into that temperature because then you're going to risk either freezing it or you're going to risk cooking your wine. Even if it's in a danger zone, but it's consistently there for a while, you're still going to have those issues. It's going to change the properties of your wine, to change the flavor profiles, and it's going to deteriorate your wine at a much faster rate. So remember, 55 to 59 degrees Fahrenheit and 55 to 75% humidity. That's what you're going to want to stay in your wine coolers. So now we have some information on the wine cooler. Let's go ahead and move on to your open wines. So I have something that's really cool here. So I have a suctioned wine stopper. So if you don't want to use like the cork for your regular wines, you can use something like this. So if you listen in, I go ahead and lift this off. So what that did is that you have a little tab here, you lift the side of it, it releases lets the air into the bottle. And if you want to seal it back up again, you have this. It's a pump. You put it right on top and then you just go until it's hard to pull, which I'll fast forward and I'll show you now. Okay. You see how it's a little hard to pull up now? That means there's no more oxygen left in here because it's normally really easy to pull. So I got this at Publix. I believe it was like $6 or $7, and it comes with 2 different stoppers, as you can see. And it's a really great investment. It's a great way to store your wines, and it helps remove any of the oxygen, so it's not oxidizing the wine that's in here as you're waiting for your next moment to enjoy it. So I opened this wine about last week, I'm gonna say a couple days ago. And I can't wait to enjoy it again, so I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that this stays on really well, sucks out all the oxygen so I can enjoy it before I end up having to throw it out, because that's really sad. So let's go into our wines and see how many days we want to keep it at and how to store it properly. So let's start with our sparkling wines. So sparkling wines, you're gonna want to enjoy it about 1 to 3 days from opening. Mainly because you're going to lose a lot of that effervescence if you don't store it properly, but also champagne, sparkling wines, you want to drink that quickly. And you're going to want to keep it with a champagne stopper, and you're going to want to have it in your refrigerator. Now, if you don't know what a champagne stopper is, I'm going to go ahead and link down below the video I did on champagne, because I do have a champagne stopper in that video. so you can go ahead and check it out. If not, it's basically just a stopper with a little tab that goes into the bottle, and then it has kind of like a clip that goes onto the neck. That way it keeps the effervescence and the sparkling aspect of it contained in the bottle, and it doesn't shoot the stopper out because of all the bubbles. So then now let's go into our light whites and our rosés, and that you're going to want to enjoy about 5 to 7 days from opening, and you want to seal it with either the cork or our little stopper here, and you want to keep it in your refrigerator. Now for our full white wines, that's going to be about 3 to 5 days, and you're going to do the same thing with a cork or one of these stoppers in the refrigerator. Now here's where I differ a little bit. In the research that I did, for all red wines, you're going to want to drink it 3 to 5 days, and you're going to want to store it in a dark, cool place. I actually prefer putting mine in the refrigerator because it helps slow down the oxidation process. And yeah, I have my cool little stopper here, but sometimes it's nice to take an extra step. So I put it in the refrigerator, I take it out maybe about 30 minutes before I want to enjoy it. It warms it up to a good temperature. It also stays a little chilled, which is how you should be drinking your red wines. Remember, between 60 and 65 degrees. So it keeps the wine fresher for longer, and I get to enjoy it pre-chilled. And now let's go on to our box wines and our fortified wines. So our fortified wines are going to be your port, your sherry. Basically, it's wine that's fortified with more alcohol from a distillation process from wine. Now, you're gonna wanna keep that, and you're gonna wanna enjoy it between 28 days from opening it. This is the one that's gonna last the longest just because it has that fortification on it, so you're not gonna have to drink it as quickly. And with box wines, it's kinda in like, I guess like a bladder is what you can call it. It's like a sack inside of a box. So that is airtight sealed, so no oxygen is really gonna be getting into it. So you're not gonna have to worry about oxidation process with that too much. So you can enjoy it within 28 days of opening it or starting to pour it. Now you also wanna keep it in a cool, dark place. Once again, I just personally like putting my wines in the refrigerator once they're open, just because I feel like it keeps the wines fresher for longer. So know that these are also estimates. So some of your wines could last a little bit longer. I don't personally recommend going past 7 days of the opening date to enjoy the wine. I mean, you can cook with it after that if you'd like. I had a Pinot Noir that I had in the fridge for about a week and a half, and I ended up cooking with it. It wasn't good to drink anymore, but it was good to cook with. So just know that these dates can vary. It could be less time, it could be more time. It just depends on how you store it and how you maintain your wine. So I hope this answers a lot of questions that you guys might have had about how to store your wines. If you're interested, the way I store my wines is I actually have them in a storage bin, and I put a towel down to help them stand properly, and then I have the lid on top, so it's a dark place. It's not going to be cool all the time just because it is an ambient temperature, so it does fluctuate with the temperature that I have in my house, but it is going to be a darker place, so it's not going to have a lot of issues with like UV light or sunlight. You're not going to get any light strike or anything like that. So that's a great way to store your wines. That's the way I store my wine for right now. So I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Remember to drink responsibly, store responsibly, and happy drinking. Bye.